Hello and welcome to the new year 2021. I wanted to share with you a story that happened in mid-August of 2020. I woke up early in the morning as usual and decided to take a little jog on the beach. I did, it was enjoyable. I came back, took a shower, and then out of the blue, a storm whipped up. Now, this is not unusual in Florida, especially during the summer season. We call them no names. Well, this was a big no name storm. It came in out of nowhere. The wind was horizontal. And luckily, in the condominium where I live, I have hurricane shutters. So I quickly went and shut all the hurricane shutters down. And that left me literally in the dark. When you shut down the hurricane shutters, no light comes through at all. So I fumbled around to find my light switch, turned on the lights. And then I sat down, which has been my routine, to then ask the messengers questions. And immediately they responded about the storm. So let me go ahead and share that with you. They said, "There is power within the storms upon your earth." Now, when I read that, power within the storms, I'm thinking, are they talking about the COVID pandemic or are they literally talking about the storm? Could be both. And then they said, what you think of as no warning, the winds blew, the lightning struck, and the thunder boomed. There are no surprises, only conditions. Elements on the earth plane converge to form a storm. The surprise came from your perception or lack of perception. And so it is with the human condition to us. There is power within the storms upon your earth. And I'm thinking, are they referring to the COVID storm or the literal storm that's outside my window? What you think of as no warning, the winds blew, the lightning struck, and thunder boomed. There are no surprises, only conditions. Elements upon the earth plane converge to form a storm. The surprise comes from your perception or lack of perception. And so it is with the human connection to us. We surround humans, often waiting for them to call upon us for guidance. For when they do so, it brings forth the conditions for us to manifest. Think of this like the storm you are witnessing. Certain meteorological conditions had to be met before the storm could materialize. The same is true when connecting with us. As humans begin to operate from the center of their points of existence, they begin to operate from a position of control. They are at the helm, and their choices orchestrate the outcomes. No longer do they feel powerless, for they begin to witness their own inherent strength. Operating from the heart space allows a closer relationship with their environment. It is not only their personal energy fields, but it is where their connections to angels and guides occur. Going within allows for a conscious connection. And at that point, once I received that message, I had this vision. It was actually very fast. It was like a glimpse of a flying machine. And it looked like something way off in the future from a science fiction movie. But I was at the helm. I stood in front of it, and there's this huge dashboard, very complex, and there's these animations, these lights and things, just various colors and sizes, but there were no buttons to push or any levers to slide. And I didn't know in my brain what to do, but in my heart, I intuitively knew what I should do. I stepped closer and I moved my right hand toward the console. And without thinking about what I was doing, I simply let my hand hover over the panel and it responded. The machine began to rise from the ground. And as I moved my hand, so did the machine, and within a minute, I was like zooming through the clouds, making these hairpin turns at will. It was actually a thrill. But I understood what the messengers were sharing with me, this analogy. By me stepping into the role as pilot, my intuitive nature took over when I did that. This was a novel situation for me, yet I didn't approach it with trepidation. I approached it with curiosity. So my fear of the unknown dropped away. And I learned that I was the one in control. I could choose to soar among the stars, or I could just sit there and hover and idle in place. There was no wrong answer. It was all left up to me. And so the power of living from the heart space is like being at the helm of this futuristic flying machine. The commands were at my fingertips, literally. I was the one who made the decisions, but they were not the decisions calculated and analyzed by my brain. These were all intuitive, heartfelt decisions, and my thoughts became energy. They became action. So let me continue with this. They said, this is the way of energy. Your thoughts create vibratory patterns, and these patterns set conditions for actions to occur. An outcome is a manifestation of a combination of conditions. The storm manifested when certain conditions occurred. We see that humans are beginning to understand the complexities of manifestations. We wish them to step into their roles as creators. They are beginning to recognize the importance of energy and how they can manipulate that energy to better their lives. The key is the heart space. Learn to live within the heart to access these skills. And as they said that, I had another vision. I was, it was a bird's eye view. I was at the upper part of a ceiling of some sort of a place of worship, a mosque, a synagogue, a church. But there were people below, and they all had their heads bowed in prayer. From my position, I could see the energy, and I saw streams of energy that came up from each person, and these streams of energy gathered together and made this huge bundle that then just went up through the ceiling of this place of worship. And I understood that this was a literal translation of the power of prayer. As people pray, they are speaking from their hearts. And when a group of people get together, that energy becomes even stronger. And I saw that, I understood this is the power of heart energy. And if we could only learn to live from our hearts, our lives would truly change. I've thought of how often growing up, I'm still not grown up yet, but how I really wanted to do something or say something, but my ego prevented me from doing it. I always judge myself, fearful, what if what I say is wrong, or what will people think of me if I say something that's not appropriate? But learning to step into my heart space allowed me, just like it did in the flying machine, to step beyond these fears. One of the biggest fears I ever had was the publishing of both of my books. That caused me fear. I didn't want to do this. And I kept thinking, what are people going to think of me? What are they going to say? Now I know there's nothing to fear. I was afraid people would speak out. And you know what? They did, but not in a manner that I anticipated. There has been such an outpouring of love as others have shared with me some of their experiences. As I look at today, January 1st, 2021, I wanted to share this story as we enter this new year. We are finally, thank goodness, leaving 2020 behind. But this story about speaking your truth is important for this new year. How we end this new year will be very different from where we are now, from 2020 that we just ended. We know that we have choices, and we know how we act, and how we choose to act will define how smooth our transition will be to this new year. What are we going to embrace this new year? I, for one, am going to continue to take inventory. Let's, look at what we bring into our lives. You know, do we need to keep those? Are we holding on to grudges, or holding on to sadness, or holding on to judgment that keeps us in lower vibrational frequencies? If we are, maybe we need to just push those aside. Let's not cling to negativity. Let's not cling to something that doesn't uplift us. I remember years ago, my mother used to say, and your mother probably said it too, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. I, for one, am going to make a conscious effort to choose kindness for 2021. I'm going to choose love. I'm going to choose light. So, what will your choices be? Whatever they are, I hope that 2021 brings you happiness and health. And until next time, I hope everyone has a blessed new year, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.